Welcome back to our final episode of Season 1 of Critical Misses. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpir.
Hello.
We're going to go over our rankings of Season 1. Some seasons, some of the shorter seasons, we won't do a dedicated episode of this, but the Fast Saga is 9 episodes, 9 movies long, 9 episodes long too. So we're going to have a little dedicated segment here. We're going to talk about Season 2's media, and then we'll talk about our bonus episode, Better Luck Tomorrow, which we'll do right there at the ending. So, if you haven't joined us for any of our ranking stuff, real quick overview. We're going to go from bottom to top, so from 9 to 1 in reverse order here. We're going to alternate. Moon will go 9, I will go 9, rinse and repeat until we crown our top, our favorite of the Fast Saga, and then we'll move on. So, without further ado, now we got all the business stuff out of the way.
I'm redoing my list as we're talking, by the way.
Okay, that's very on brand for our ranking stuff.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it thinking, does that really deserve to go there, or should that be somewhere else?
Yeah, I sort of took the approach of, I've been ordering them as we watch the entire saga, and I put Hobbs and Shaw in there and kind of looked at my list and went, yeah, all right, sure. That checks out. Any day you could probably swap maybe 2 or 3 of these, but nothing. I feel like the top and the bottom are pretty solid.
I was just about to say, with 2 exceptions, I think number 1 and number 9 are going to be universal across the board. And
well, speaking of that, let's hit your number 9.
Yeah, number 9 is 4. It's Fast & Furious.
With a bullet. just it's the same on mine. It's just a mess. I mean, I feel like we rightly beat this movie up when we were talking about it during episode 4,
which I've been listening to the episodes as well. I did a re-listen of all of the currently released episodes, on the way to this episode. It's like, yeah, 4 is hot garbage compared to some of the rest of them.
4 is just rough. Like it just.
Here is the question.
That tunnel, man.
If they did that tunnel sequence, really did it rather than CG Nightmare, it would be a much better movie.
Yeah, it really drags the whole thing down because it's just like, cool, I got 5 minutes where I just don't know what's going on. Like, I legitimately don't know what's going on. It's a real bummer.
Yes.
Let's hit your number 8 then.
This is where things get complicated.
These are the tough ones.
Yeah. My number 8 is 2. Too Fast, Too Furious.
So is mine.
Okay. Similar vibe so far. The funny thing is, despite being number 8 on this list, it's still a solid movie. It's fun. Yeah. It's dumb. It's action-packed. I'm hungry. Like, it's
right.
It's got moments.
They jump a car onto a boat. Like, there's a lot of stuff. But it has one of the weakest villains.
Yes. And overall, it's a good movie, but it's just not as good as the rest for me.
And Roman isn't nearly like at his full power like he is in some of the later movies.
Yes, Roman is good, but he's not great in this movie.
Yeah, he's not really Roman yet. He's just sort of he's sort of another character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 7.
All right, number 7.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Okay.
I'm assuming this is where we start to differentiate. Hobbs and Shaw is here because I think it is a decent action Hollywood blockbuster movie. I genuinely do think it's a pretty good popcorn movie, but it doesn't feel right. Like, there's something off about it. Like, even though there is #family in it, there's not #the family in it. So,
well, like we complained last episode, I think you put it best, where it's like, they had sort of, the two of them had come to terms with each other pretty nicely in the last film. And then this one just kind of dials that back a little bit, where it's like, how about you guys fight a little bit more than you should?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hobbs and Shaw is my number 7, Boston.
My number 7 is The Fast and the Furious, the first one. This is like tied really closely with Hobbs and Shaw. Again, not a bad movie, but it's kind of, something has to be down here. And the first movie is good, but it's not great.
Yeah.
and it's a solid movie, and I was happy to watch it again and say like, yeah, man, all right, yeah, that was a pretty good movie, but just not as good as the rest of the stuff.
Yeah. My number 6 then is The Fast and the Furious.
There you go.
It literally beats out Hobbs and Shaw for me for pure nostalgia. Like,
yeah,
like we said, it's a solid movie. That superstar scene, every single time I think about that, I smile, even though it's one of the dumbest things ever committed to movies.
Yeah, one of the most 90s movies we've seen.
Yes.
Yeah. My number 6 is Hobbs and Shaw.
So we flipped.
Yeah, so for essentially the same reason that it's a fine movie, it's a cool action movie, not a great car action movie, like is sort of what I like in the Fast Saga. So that's why it sort of hangs out down there. What's hanging at your number 5?
The Fate of the Furious.
Okay.
It's a decent enough movie. It's decent enough, and I like the whole twist of Dom going against like the family. And when the trailers came out, that was hilarious, watching all of the #family argue on Twitter over why he would possibly do this. And the theories that came out was great. But yeah, Fate falls down a little bit compared to some of the other movies. Especially CG cars is great. Like they do a lot of good CG in this with the automatic cars attack.
Right.
But it's middle of the road for me. This is where it 100% felt like, oh, this is just a blockbuster movie now.
Right. Yeah, my number 5 is Furious 7.
Okay.
Largely because I kind of don't remember it. like I know it's a great movie, and you know the top 5, they're all great movies. Like the second phase of the Fast Saga movies are all really good, but if I was pushed to remember something like The Fate of the Furious, I'd remember that a lot more, a lot better than I think I would Furious 7, where Furious 7 is sort of like, that was a good movie, and I don't remember too much of it, but I did enjoy it.
Okay. What number are we up to now? Number 4?
Number 4.
Okay, Furious 7.
There you go.
Furious 7 is here for me because of one reason and one reason only. I hate the end of Furious 7. Let's get that on the record. I think we stated it in the episode. The last 20 minutes of that movie, the whole LA chase thing can go away.
Yeah. The drone chase.
But it starts with Jason Statham in that hospital.
Yeah, that's true. One of the best character introductions on film.
And Jason Statham is amazing in that movie. And you've got the bus chase on the mountains, and you've got the parachuting cars, and you've got the introduction of Mr. Nobody. Like,
that's right.
There is a lot going on in 7 that is genuinely fantastic.
The introduction of Cypher, too.
Cypher and Ramsey.
Right. All right, Furious 7 is a good movie. All right, I can.
Are we going to switch our lists over
list? Yeah. For me, number 4 is The Fate of the Furious.
We flipped again.
Yeah, largely for the same reasons. I like Fate of the Furious a lot. I like Dom turning. I like a lot of him being needled by the bad guy. I like Jason Statham.
That choice theory scene is one of the hammiest things ever.
Oh yeah, oh, God, yeah. Like this wannabe Bond villain. I like the 2 Shaw brothers taking over that plane. I like Jason Statham taking care of that baby. Like there's a lot of really good.
It's quality.
Yeah, like there's a lot of really good scenes, but man, is that movie long? Like just. There's so much in it, and just you could cut a little bit out of a lot of scenes, and you'd still be pretty good.
Also, the introduction of Helen Mirren into the family.
Yes, as special note, Helen Mirren being just really great.
Number 3.
Number 3
is number 3. It is Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
Ditto for me.
It is a bad movie. Let's get that straight out of the way. It's
not great.
Not a
great
cinematic
movie. Masterpiece.
It's so good.
I love it so much.
Like, I mean,
it
hashtag justice for Han, number one.
right, yes.
Oh.
I think for me, when campy movies and like campy media lands, for me, it lands hard. And like this movie is super campy. Like, I only race for pink slips. Like, there's so much of it that's
the bomb scene at the beginning that goes on for like way too long.
It's so long. And like the Hulk car, and there's like there's so much in there that's not great. But I really, really love it so much.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Starship Troopers of this franchise, where it's so bad, but it takes itself super seriously and executes on that so well. Like, I love Tokyo Drift. I will always love Tokyo Drift.
And if someone was to make their own Fast Saga ranking and they put it at like number 8, like
you can
second to the bottom, yeah, I'd be like, all right, I don't agree with you, but like, yeah, I get it. I can totally understand that.
I'm gonna guess, by the way, that our number 2s and 1s are in the same order here. So
I'm gonna guess. So what's your number 2?
Number 2 is 6, whatever that is.
Yeah,
Fast
6. And Furious 6. Yeah,
yes. It is a good movie. It has one of the best villains in the series in the younger Shaw brother. It's got that incredible flip car sequence.
It's so good. The F1 flip car.
Yep. It's filmed. Part of it was filmed in my hometown as well, which is always great. And a
tunnel racing scene that works.
That's the section that was filmed in my hometown.
Nice.
And it's really good. And it's got Michelle Rodriguez and I think it's Gina Carano beating the crap out of each other in that sequence.
Oh, man. Yeah, that like underground hallway, just like I'm in the back of this down stairwell and we're just beating the crap out of each other. God, that was a good
street fight versus MMA fighter that is filmed and shot really well.
Yeah, and that's going on at the same time as the other 2 people fight that like professional fighter.
Yeah,
yeah.
You go first. No, you go first. And then of course it ends with the tank.
Yes. Oh God, the tank busting out of the thing where it's like, oh man, they stopped this convoy and just like blap coming out of the front of the thing as a tank. It's like, yep, all right, that was dope. That was great.
Which means, of course, number 1 is it's Fast 5.
It's got to be Fast 5. It's the only thing it could possibly be. One of the coolest third act action scenes I've ever seen with that bank safe is just the whole movie is so good. I think I had commented when we were doing the second half of that episode was just like, oh, they have a budget and they have cinematography and like the first couple shots is this sepia tone of them driving through this country. And it's like, oh, all right, like we're making movies now. All right, cool. Yep. This is a big step up and
it's the perfect balance of character versus action. Like it's got those character moments all the time sprinkled throughout the entire film. It does have the Rock introduction as well, of course. With one of my favorite lines. Don't ever
let them get into cars.
That one.
So good. Delivered so seriously.
Yeah, because he knows who he's dealing with. It's Fast 5 is a cinematic masterpiece. And I don't just mean like it's a popcorn movie masterpiece. I think genuinely it is a masterpiece. The way they start looping everything back in. Like Han's there and Vinny's there and he's got the scars on his arm that he got in the first movie from the truck thing. And
that's right.
Everyone's like, it's the whole counterplay of, you know, Brian's a cop. You should have believed me when he was a cop kind of thing. And like the loss of a family member. And then so much going on in that movie. And it's so good.
And it unlike a lot of the other movies, it really moves. Like there's not a lot of extra stuff. There's 3 solid acts. They deal with a lot of the hashtag family stuff. They start, like you said, they start looping a lot of the Fast Saga movies together. And then they really get to the action scene that you really want to see. And it's dope.
And it's still got one of my favorite pink slip race moments too. Legend v Legend, cut to black, driving in with new cars.
Yeah, just returning with a bunch of cars. It's like, you know what I do.
Yep.
I did it. You've seen these.
5
is
the
fifth one.
5 is so good.
5 is so, yeah, like we said, number 1, number 9 were a lock. Anything else in the middle can kind of fluctuate a little bit, but...
We basically ran the exact same numbers with 2s flipped. 2 different 2 flips, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so, really quick, let's do a very brief wrap-up. Obviously, I know this series. I love this series. I have espoused the virtues of this. Someone was talking on Twitter today about the other day about Fast and the Furious, and I jumped in and said, oh, hey, by the way, we're doing a podcast on it, and oh, hey, by the way, the only thing you were missing from my summoning circle was the hashtag family, and I would have been there. And it's like, yo, I adore
the sleeper cell has been awakened.
Yes. So, having never seen this series before,
yes,
this being one of those hits we've missed, wink,
hey,
what did you think coming out of this?
I really loved it, and I think I wasn't expecting. I think I was expecting to like it because I genuinely like most things I experience, especially movies, because not like a JRPG where it's like, all right, 65 hours, now I'm in chapter 5. You know, it's sort of like, I got an hour and a half to 2.5 hours, you know, sort of on the long end. You know, I can kind of experience this thing and kind of have fun and turn my brain off for a while. And I think I joked at the very beginning about, like, at the end of this, I'd just be screaming family and, like, crying softly about it.
Did.
And yeah, man, I totally am. Like, I get it. These are car heist movies and car point break movies, and they're genuinely really good. Like, this isn't, you know, you're not reading Kafka. Like, this isn't the most intellectually stimulating thing, but they make good, solid movies, and even when they're bad, there's still stuff to be redeemed. Like, Ampersand is still a fine movie that has really low lows, but the rest of it is pretty fine.
Like, one of my favorite scenes in Ampersand is when Mia and Brian are in that cafe talking, and he's like, he tries to apologize, and she's just like, I'm so sorry, you ruined my life. I'm so sorry you had to do. It's like, that's a good scene.
Yep.
Like, I love this franchise unabashedly, and full credit to literally a bunch of popcorn BS, because that's what they evolved into. For at the end of 7, before that end sequence even starts, I'm crying every single time.
Yep.
They handled the death of a real human being with such dignity and aplomb that I cannot give them enough credit for that.
Yeah, I think that especially was the thing. I was sort of like holding my breath and like leaning back a little bit throughout most of the second half of that movie, where it's like, ooh, is this gonna be? No, okay. Ooh, he's gonna. Oh, okay. And then by the end, he kind of like gets to ride off into the sunset and be happy, and it's like, man, that's the right way you do it, and ripping my heart out, you big jerks.
Yep.
Yeah. The Fast Saga is really great, and I will watch these. I'm super pumped for Fast 9 whenever that comes out.
Hashtag justice for Han, which, by the way, I found out Justin Lin is back directing this one. The same guy who did 5, 6, and 7.
That's the best news. And we'll probably do something related to Critical Misses when it comes out, because I hate going to the movie theater, but I definitely will go to the theater for Fast 9 for sure.
Yep.
Whenever they open and it's safe to go there.
Yes.
But yeah, really happy we watched this, and this, you know, the Fast Saga was really the genesis of this series. And very happy that we watched this, and very happy that the Fast Saga is very good. But on that note, let's talk about season 2. We are going to watch the Oceans movies. This is Oceans 11, 12, 13, and 8. We won't be watching the original, but we'll be starting with Oceans 11. And we picked this largely because it's shorter. It's only 4 movies, which is great. But also, Moon, you and I haven't seen all of these yet. I've seen 11 and 12, and like half an hour of 13, and not 8.
I've seen 11. I think I've seen 12, but don't hold me to that. I think at
Right.
least at the very least of 12, I've seen one of the worst scenes in movie history from 12.
Not excited to see that again.
Nope, me neither. If
Yeah.
you know these movies, you know exactly what scene that is. If you
Yeah,
don't, look forward to that.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen 13. I haven't seen 8. My wife likes 8. Also, I'm pretty sure 8 has Helen Mirren in it. So,
oh, great!
shall we
Well,
maybe keep a theme going here?
Yeah, every series needs to have her in it. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna next episode we'll start with Ocean's 11 here. We did a car heist series. Now we're gonna do a people heist series. Yeah, regular money heist series. But before we go do that, let's talk about our last movie here, the unofficial Han origin story of Better Luck Tomorrow. I watched this. I finished it yesterday.
I finished it this morning.
Okay. I had zero expectations going into this movie other than this is sort of the wink and nod Han origin story. Certainly was not expecting this movie to be nearly as brutal as it is.
Yep. So
it starts off with we're filling out cheat sheets, and then by the end it's just like, oh God.
I did not realize this because obviously I didn't know it at the time. But I have 100% seen this movie before.
Oh, okay.
When I was very, very, very young.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I probably saw this when I was in high school at the time. I think this was one of those, I have insomnia and I can't sleep and it just happens to be on TV, so I'll just watch this movie. That's also how I watched Akira, by the way.
Another movie we've all watched too young.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until about halfway through, 2 quarters, halfway, same difference. Halfway through, I was like, this is all so familiar to me, and is this
deja vu moment?
Yes, definitely. But it's one of those movies where it's like, yeah, this thing is dark. Like, it's very, very, very dark.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit too dark, to be completely honest.
Yeah, like I really liked a lot of this. The guy that plays Han, of course, is really great. I feel like he's playing a little bit of a different version of that character, sort of maybe a little bit more aggressive than...
He's a kid. He's in high school.
Yeah, and this is clearly, like we heard about in Tokyo Drift, sorry. This is very much his Mexico.
Yes.
And I really like this. John Cho, of course, in this doing a really great job as he normally does. Everybody in this movie was really great, and I really liked it. And man, you know where the movie is going because you know that things are going to spiral out of control. But Derek killing Steve while Virgil is holding him, and there's no music, and it's just like Virgil crying and Derek talking to him, is just... I'm watching it, I'm like, oh God, please make it stop. Oh no, they're still going. Oh God, this is so long. Oh please. It's just a brutal, super rough scene.
Yeah, it is kind of like on the very, very rough side. It actually, I wish I could remember the name of it, but there's a Justin Timberlake movie. It's not Out of Time. Nobody suggest that, please. Which is about a similar thing, which is a bunch of white kids in suburbia getting up to no good and basically kidnapping a kid and then becoming this kid's friend. And it ends in a similarly brutal fashion. And it 100% took me back to that, where it's just like, oh, okay, so this is just one of those movies that it's
suburbia gone wrong.
Yes, which honestly I kind of like it because screw suburbia, number one.
Right.
But it's a good warning shot across the bow for kids in the wrong places, if that makes sense.
Well, and it's nice to see a movie that focuses on the suburban experience of Asian Americans. It's not concerned about anybody else. It's just like, here is the thing we know. We're going to make a movie about it. Sort of watching as everything falls apart. I really liked it. it's a movie I would probably not watch again.
100%.
It's interesting to see like Justin Lin's first movie and see a lot of the threads of where he'd go later and kind of see how much he would sort of extend a very thin budget and do a lot with it.
Yeah.
I think he made a really great movie, and I'm glad we watched
really
it.
well, like the repeats of the time, like the time loops or the time skips, when it's just like, let's just do this line of drugs, and then it's the same shot with a different t-shirt, same shot with a different t-shirt over and over and over again to indicate like time going by. Also MTV Productions, MTV Movies.
Yeah, MTV purchased it, financed by MC Hammer.
Yep. Which, by the way, the Justin Timberlake movie is called Alpha Dog.
Alpha Dog. I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, starring a very, very young Olivia Wilde.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad we watched this as a bonus movie, because I feel like I probably wouldn't have seen it otherwise, and I'm glad that we got a chance to see it. But I think if you're listening to this and you've watched the whole thing and you're looking and you haven't watched it, I would really recommend it. I think it's like 95 minutes. Like it's certainly not 2.5 hours long, and it moves pretty quickly. And I liked it as much as you can like something that kind of keeps stabbing you in the back for the entire 95 minutes. But yeah, any closing thoughts about Better Luck Tomorrow?
No, it's a good, solid movie. Like, we watched it solely for the purpose of the introduction of Han. Which obviously makes kind of sense, considering he literally never stopped smoking in this movie.
That's right. That's right.
Like, every scene he's
so
in,
good.
He's smoking or lighting a cigarette to smoke. But
it's really good.
It's a good, solid movie. Like, it's not top of the class. It's not bottom of the barrel. Some unfortunate 90s choice of language in there.
Like maybe a little bit accurate to what
the time
a 90s high schooler would say, where it's like, you can't say that anymore, man. But like, pretty accurate, yeah.
But yeah, it's a good movie. It's worth giving a watch. Just don't watch it in front of your kids.
No, it's definitely R for real.
Yes.
R stands for real. All right, that's end of season 1. Sorry, not series 1. I mean, if you're in the UK, then maybe series. But that's the end of season 1. We'll be back next time with the start of Danny Ocean's saga with Ocean's 11. We'll see you next time.
The Ocean's 4.
That's right. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.